How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys the number one fundamental that all the pro artists are using that makes their art pop. So grab yourself a sketchbook and a pencil, and let's get to it. So what is this fundamental that all these artists are using? What's their big secret? Well, actually, it's probably something you've heard a million times before, but never took any notice to it. And that is perspective. Perspective is the number one fundamental in art that every artist uses to make their art look amazing. Well, what is perspective? Why does it help their art look so good? Well, perspective is the idea of giving three-dimensional depth to a 2D canvas. What this means is whenever you draw something, you're drawing it as if it's 3D, even though it's only on a 2D plane. This depth makes everything pop, look cool, and look believable. That way you don't have flat little stick men that look like they're going to move side to side on a little 3DS game. So with that, I'm going to show you guys some basic perspective that you can practice even if you're a beginner and you're not confident in your drawing abilities, that can really take you to the next step and really make people say, wow, when they see your art. The first type of perspective I'm going to teach you guys is one-point perspective. This is very simple. You can do it if you're like a 5-year-old child, okay? And what we're going to do, step one, is draw a horizon line. Now, a horizon line is the line at which our eyes sit on the image. So anything below the horizon line, we're looking down on. Anything above the horizon line, we're looking up at. With a one-point perspective, though, all vertical and horizontal lines will be completely 90 degrees up and down and 180 degrees left and right. In the middle of this line, we're going to put a little dot. This is called our vanishing point. Everything within the image vanishes or gets smaller as it goes towards this vanishing point. And the way we get this is by drawing a simple grid. First thing we're going to do is draw a perpendicular line going 90 degrees up and down through the vanishing point. And then we're just going to pretty much slice it like a piece of pizza, going back and forth. Now, however many lines or however many times you dissect these shapes is up to you. I personally don't do too many just because it gets annoying with all the lines in the way. The next thing is now we're just going to draw simple 3D shapes inside of this perspective grid. Now remember, things will get smaller as they go towards the perspective because you're using the grid as a guide. What I mean by this is if we draw a square, let's just pick anywhere, just a flat square. Now let's turn this into a cube. What we're going to do is make the sides taper towards the vanishing point, so make sure you follow your guidelines. And it pretty much gives the illusion that you're looking up at this square due to the fact that you're seeing the underside and the side of this cube, and that is how you get perspective. So I do recommend connecting shapes. Don't just draw them separately, but connect cubes with cylinders, and you get this idea of connecting parts like you would for a body. Then you just go around any shapes you want, fill in this perspective grid. So now that we have the basics for one-point perspective down, now we're going to move on to what's called two-point perspective. It's pretty much the same thing, except now we're going to have two vanishing points instead of one. Again, we're going to start with a simple horizon line, out directly in the middle of wherever you're wanting to draw. Our vanishing points are going to be kind of at the end of each end of our line. You don't want your vanishing points too close together or things start to get wonky and really weird looking. So I'm going to put one dot here, another dot at this end. Sure, you can draw another center line if you want to, down like a cross. Every line from each vanishing point should be spread out towards the middle. Now that we have this grid down, this pretty much works the same way as a one-point perspective. The only difference really is that our horizontal lines no longer stay completely flat, but they instead turn like this. If you get what I mean. We're going to draw a little cube. If you want to follow along, you can with me. We're going to have a little line down here. And then this side is going to go back towards this vanishing point. And then the other one, bottom, same thing. And then another vertical line going straight down. Then on the other side, we're going to go back towards the other vanishing point, or the left vanishing point, and we're going to do this pretty much making as if almost like a corner to a wall. For the top of the square, again following the right vanishing point, back, and then the left vanishing point for this side, and boom, you have a rectangular prism in a 3D space. And then you can kind of just follow this perspective to draw different shapes in it, choosing one side or the other, or both. And again, just like one point perspective, remember anything below the horizon line, you're going to see the top of it because you're looking down at it. Anything above the horizon line, you're looking up at, so you'll see the bottom of it. Okay guys, so now that our basics of perspective are down and you guys pretty much get the gist of how to practice your perspective, I'm going to take each one of those perspectives and make a little illustration for each of them just to show you guys how you can put this into practice and make an illustration using nothing but a perspective grid and some basic anatomy, and how you can create something amazing without any color. So let's get to it. Alright, so now that we're done with this one, I'll move on to a 2-point perspective illustration just to show you guys or give you an example of how you can use that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with that, see you guys in the next one. We're out.